What was that?
Perfect. You want to be that guy?
Boy, it seems like every single minute there is news unfolding about this Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX debacle. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to DCTV. My name is Brad. Don is in the background. He'll be here in just a second, but I wanted to cover this news first. Sam Bankman-Fried is under supervision, quote unquote, in the Bahamas, looking to flee to Dubai. So this is a news story that broke from Cointelegraph. The FTX former CEO Sam Bankman-Fried and the co-founder Gary Wang, which nobody really knows who that guy is, other than he was with Sequoia. That whole story is also very kind of sus. And the director of engineering, Nishad Singh, are understood to be in the Bahamas and are under supervision by the local authorities. I want to stress he's not necessarily arrested yet, but he's being detained. The source familiar with the matter told Cointelegraph that the three former FTX executives, as well as Alameda Research CEO Caroline Ellison, who is an absolute dingbat, are looking for ways to flee to Dubai, which doesn't have any extradition treaties, likely reference to the United States. Right now, three of them, Sam, Gary, and Nishad, are under the supervision of the Bahamas, which means it will be hard for them to leave, said the source, who asked them to remain anonymous, adding, "I just got word they were trying to get away to get to Dubai, which doesn't have any extradition treaty." Now, what I want to say is that this is from Cointelegraph, so I want to make sure that you guys know that we're not giving you this news, that we're the source is from Cointelegraph, so you guys can feel free to go check that out. But I wanted to bring Don in. Can I get your thoughts on this, Don?
Man, I don't know. When you think about what he did, he took someone's money, basically traded on Robinhood. It turns out he wasn't a good trader. I think he bought Robinhood stock. I'm mixing it up. But when you think about the level he did it at, it's no longer I borrowed money from a friend. You just don't talk to that guy anymore. Yeah. This guy lost, 32 billion evaporated overnight. I don't know. I would rather be like in Elon's door, like knocking on it. Like, hey, like, you got a new rocket set up. How's that Mars mission looking? Like, can we speed up takeoff?
Right.
Because some of these people, like, is he trying to get not arrested, or is he just trying not to die at this point?
I don't know.
That's a lot of money.
That's a good question. I had thought about that myself. I mean, I think it would be too obvious if he just ended up dead one day. But
some people just don't care. Like, I'm not saying like the government killed him. I'm saying someone's like just pissed because they're not getting their money back.
No,
I go off this guy
100%. And if you connect the dots to some of these people, it is certainly really kind of crazy. I was just looking at a news here from CNBC as well. Between 1 and 2 billion of the FTX customer funds have disappeared, and SBF had a secret backdoor to transfer billions of dollars. Like, my thing is, like, somebody else knew about this. This wasn't just Sam Bankman-Fried running around frolicking like there was no problem. Like, this was all fine and dandy without somebody else knowing about it. Like, all the amount of big names and investors, and I'm talking BlackRock and Sequoia, which what's his name? Gary Wang was also from. If you look at Gary Wang's profile picture over on Sequoia, by the way, it's a picture of his back, which is also very weird. But if you look at you try to connect the dots, and you're just like, how the fuck? There's no way only Sam Bankman-Fried was a part of this. And I just want to know how deep this actually goes.
Well, first of all, is Sam Bankman, is he the super coder that put this all together?
No.
Okay, so to put a backdoor in there in the first place, and I do want to understand that, because I'm trying to think, why would you have a backdoor with that much funds? Because that sounds exploited, you know, like that. And I guess the reference is like, if there was an attack, they have a way to get out. But maybe I'm thinking ambush tactics. That's just not the best, because now you got to have somebody watching that as well, or now you can just take the money, weasel out. And I don't know if he did that for like just to end up, because people were trying to take money off there. So did he take all that money off so we can settle it and have this conversation in bankruptcy court? Hey, we have these funds. That way everyone's in the same boat. It's finally that they put an end to it. Just cauterized it, took it off. I don't get the back door. Why'd they have it? Why was it still allowed to be used? Why wasn't that put in the first place? And then either Sam would have to be some super coder or who's his accomplices, who knew about this, because surely there's not one person, there's a small group that know about it that would, now maybe you guys know I'm incredibly ignorant to this, nuclear style, there's two keys got to be turned at the same time kind of play. Like,
yeah,
who was that? Or who was the other person?
It's starting to certainly feel like perhaps Sam Bankman-Fried was a pawn of some sort. I mean, you look at SBF, and then you also look at what's her name? What did I say her name was? The CEO of Alameda. But she was also, like I said, like an absolute dingbat. Caroline Ellison. She had no business being a CEO of anything when you look at some of the interviews that she's been a part of, and I have to wonder if they were just put there to perhaps, and listen, this is me putting my tinfoil hat on, but they were put there perhaps by much more powerful people so that they can somehow be the fall guy if this decided to blow up. I mean, I'm looking at what some of the things that CZ has put out recently, and I'm looking at this, and he says, we have a policy not to comment on competitors. We call industry peers publicly. I broke this rule only a few times in the past. July 7th, I tweeted this, and it said, so 3AC owes Voyager a few $100 million, went bust. FTX Alameda gives 3AC $100 million, but it didn't save it. Alameda invests in Voyager, then takes a $377 million loan from Voyager. Okay, V went bust, yada, yada, yada. So then he says he obviously knows a lot about bankruptcy even in July. So it basically CZ knew what the next step was for Sam Bankman-Fried. It was kind of like he already had this in place. There's no way that you go from being worth $16 billion to zero, then to bankrupt within less than a week. That is just crazy. If he didn't already had this plan in place, or at least knew it was coming just in case. To me, this is exactly like Anna Sorokin and Martin Shkreli and Fire Festival all wrapped into one. I just don't understand.
Like I said, I think this whole thing sounds fishy. And there's one more piece I haven't brought up because I just now remembered it. Wasn't FTX the one bailing out all the other crypto places? Give them in some case almost 500 million. So first of all, they're minting their own money and just handing it out to others. So it is saving them. So were they just were they just robbing from Peter to pay Paul, knowing Peter had stage 4 cancer? And it just saved everyone else because not maybe it wasn't the best joke, but that's kind of what it sounded like. There's too many politicians that got paid during this because there was 40 million transferred to politicians in lobbying. So 40 million there. We got big names like the football guy.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, yes. If everyone knows.
And Giselle.
Yeah. So we got Tom Brady, politicians. Who was the other person? There was another big name in here, was it not?
There was a lot. Kevin
O'Leary. Just some
Kevin O'Leary.
Popularity. There was some big names, and I don't know if this was all for it or if it ends up being an excuse for regulation, but it sounds like a pretty good start for it because a lot of money just got given out right before all of this took place.
Yeah, Poecilia says, and I'm sorry if I butchered that name, says, poor BlockFi. Yeah, BlockFi was the ones that also trusted FTX to bail them out, and they are now going to be no longer as well. So
did the checks bounce, or did they get the money?
They did not get any money.
Oh, okay, so they were just trying to...
They were still surviving on the promise that FTX was going to bail them out and buy them out.
I would be in a bunker if I was this guy, and you guys would not know where I was at.
Well, that's why you're trying to get to Dubai, apparently.
So you think I can't fly to Dubai? I've never been on a plane, but if I lost the money some of these guys did, I would be on a plane. I would be in Dubai. I'd be there when it lands. Hey, let's have this conversation. I'm hanging out in Dubai with you until I'm made whole. Or you're going away in a briefcase like we saw someone else do with a reporter. That's where we're leaving this airport.
Yeah. So Mr. One Piece asking if you guys are just tuning in. First of all, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you're watching, we're simulcasting right now on DCTV as well as the Don Franz Show. So make sure you guys go check them out there. But if you're watching right now, make sure you're subscribing, hitting that notification bell, and check out our Discord. Links are in the description. But if you're just tuning in, just to catch you up, Sam Bankman-Fried as well as other execs have been detained in the Bahamas, along with the CEO of Alameda. under the pretenses that they were going to flee the country to Dubai, as there aren't currently any extradition treaties there, namely to the U.S. So that is very interesting. You know, I if you're not guilty, why are you fleeing? I guess why are you running? You know.
Well, I will do not that I really want to defend the mass fraud, but when everyone's pointing the finger at you like that, it is no longer innocent until proven guilty. He is guilty until proven innocent. And we've seen just not you know how quickly a riot can get out of hand.
Yeah.
Like I would understand, like, let me get the out of here until there's a court date and we're gonna there's a mediator somewhere in there, like there's security. And hopefully one of those security guards didn't have all his money in FTX, like on a scale like this. So just to play devil's advocate, I can kind of understand that move. Like things could be, you'd have to watch your back. There's no way he would have to start meth. Like there's no way you can fall asleep. Like, I don't know how this would play out in my mind. Like I'd have to be just cracked out of my mind. Looking through the blinds, like thermal, I'd have everything up.
Yeah,
for this guy.
Yeah, me too. I mean, it is crazy to kind of see how this is all unfolding. You know, there's so much other news that's come out from this, and we have FTX also being dropped from the Miami Heat, the NBA stadium that had FTX on the side of their building. So that's also
taking trying to buy it.
What's that?
Tasty Trade made a comment about they're trying to buy it.
Are they really?
Yeah, but I don't think they even said I don't think they can afford it, but they're trying. It's funny. Maybe SoFi will pick it up the 2 SoFi stadiums. That
would be hilarious. There's so many other things happening. I actually wanted to check out the Discord or the Twitter that I put out. So the backdoor conversation we had talked about, Miami. We're going to be talking about a lot more of this, guys, on Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern time on DCTV. So make sure you're hitting that notification bell so you get notified when we go live, as we're going to cover a lot more of this. There's just so much more to unpack. And like I said, I mean, to me, there's just no way that now there's ties to some sort of, I want to say, like some sort of embezzlement or money laundering between Ukraine and FTX, as FTX was kind of that funnel to Ukraine. So there's just a lot. I'm looking at so many things that are happening right now, and like my head is spinning. Yeah, we got to figure it's billions of dollars. There's only so much Robinhood stock you can buy. Like there's so much. It doesn't surprise me that this web is spun out so thin, or as far as it did. Yeah. I was looking at Elon Musk also ended up chiming in. Says when Elon was buying Twitter, SBF offered $3 billion per decrypt. Elon asked Michael Grimes from Morgan Stanley if he was actually liquid. And then he added that he set off my BS detector, which is why I did not think he had the $3 billion. So even Elon was like, this guy doesn't seem legit. Man, so that almost. You ready to segue? You got any more? No, that's all I got news wise for now. But yeah, let's go ahead and segue on some of the topics that you want to touch on as well. So just to be here, Brad doesn't know what I'm about to say. Like I literally just said, hey, do you want to go live real quick? Because blind reaction. I want to get another YouTuber on that did not pump FTX. And it's funny because even B Custom said it right here. This is actually going to be one of the topics I talk about. I don't like this. He said you can't sue for that. You can't withdraw your money. Like you can't physically read. That's part of the disclaimer. So what I want to talk about right now is there are, and it's funny Elon said that because there's a reason why. I don't want to sit on a high horse. There's a reason why I never did FTX or anything else. I've only done Coinbase, and I actually like that Coinbase. Now, Peter said some things that I do want to double check, but I felt like since there was a limited number on Coinbase, there's so many rules you had to get on Coinbase, that felt like they did their due diligence, they did their research, and everyone else just felt shady. Like, you know, when I talk about like if you could actually short Bitcoin, people are like, oh, there are. And I'm like, nah, those brokerages just seem weird. Yeah. And that's why I was never in FTX, is because I got the same. I just never, there was just something weird about them that I didn't trust. But like I said, anyone can sit on their high horse and say, well, I never did it now. But YouTubers, I will say, are under fire right now. And I'm hearing things like YouTubers being sued.
And then another comment I wanted to bring up that a lot of people are saying is the YouTubers that pump that link should take their donations and donate it to the people that lost money.
Yeah.
And I definitely don't agree with either one of those. Where do you stand on that? Before I give my opinion, and I don't care if you agree or we debate this.
Yeah, I mean, I think to me, when you look at so many people that kind of got duped by this guy, it would be one thing if it was just like one person, right? That like completely fell for something that somebody had said. Listen, we've all kind of been there, right? How many times have you guys looked on Twitter, on social media, and then instantly believed something that you had said that was said without doing the actual work? And I'm not saying that none of these guys did the actual work, but when you have Steph Curry and Tom Brady and Giselle and so many other names and Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, and I mean, for Christ's sake, the Miami Heat, like there's so many people that trusted this guy for what he had, and I don't think that it should be on any other influencers either. They made an honest mistake, and I think as long as they owned up to it, it makes sense. Yeah. Like, I think it's a forgivable thing, but like, you know, I've seen a couple of them, Graham Stephan, Andrew Jick, a couple other ones that actually owned up to it and was like, hey, listen, like I had no idea that this was going to happen. And I think that as long as they admit to that and come forward with that, then I don't think that there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, and that's actually what I just did a video about, because I do judge people by their reaction to stuff. I don't think anybody saw the fraud of this level coming, and I think that's what's going to play out. And if you try to sue one of these YouTubers, that's what's going to play out, because not only did you click on the link, you signed all the disclaimers to the FTX that says, and this is all this, by the way, is in the disclaimer for FTX. It's any brokerage. They say, hey, are you sure you know about the risk? And you check that I agree box. And just because you didn't read it and you actually clicked I agree and you're surprised by all this, that's why it won't pan out in court. Plus, it just reminds me of this little daddy, we hold my hand thing. I fell and got a boo-boo. Like, some people do have to take the responsibility on for themselves. Like, you're the one that took that on. You're the one that signed up, put all your money in, and all that. I already forgot the other thing. What was the other thing? There was two things I already mentioned before I got into a rant. Suing and the YouTuber should donate it. No, like that's also silly. Like, they're playing YouTube has a certain game to it, right? There's affiliate links and just being real salesy. You know the YouTube game. Like, all these YouTubers were literally just doing that. You know, that's not going to change. If you don't agree with that going forward, then make your stance. But I think it's silly to say all the stuff I'm reading in the comments from these other guys. I think these people need to chill out. And I'm sorry they grew up on they got a participation medal for everything. That's just not the real world. Like, make a decision and then, you know, own up to it. If there is one takeaway that I do, and we could talk about this because you and I never pumped FTX, so we're not really in the hot seat. But there is one thing everybody has missed, and it's how much we probably should be pushing the fact that we need to move this off onto cold storage. You know, and that's what I said in a previous video. If you've never needed a 12-word password to get to your coins, they were never actually your coins. You went to the brokerage, you gave them your money and said, I'll take a Bitcoin, and they wrote an IOU 1 BTC and handed you that slip. Now, you have no idea what he's doing, but he has your Bitcoin, not you. So while I for the most part, I like Coinbase so far, the one thing I do want to start doing going forward is talking about that. Because once you do that, then it becomes your crypto. You avoid stuff like this happening to you. And I do think that's one takeaway all YouTubers can take away from this.
Yeah, and I think that this is part of a deeper conversation too. I mean, we've had a lot of people chiming in already about just Bitcoin kind of being the way to go. T says, just don't be dumb. Mr. One Piece says, I stopped trusting crypto exchanges after a Cryptopia rug pull. All users and lots of fake projects kept doing the same. NFT Solera is a scam. No exchange is safe. Keep bare minimum on exchanges only for trading and keeping the rest in cold storage. And that's exactly what we talk about here on DCTV. You know, CZ, CEO of Binance, actually spoke about this. I believe it was yesterday. He had tweeted out and talked about how, you know, this could potentially set back some adopters all because of one guy, right? Like, this is going to probably slow down or create a lot more skepticism, or at least bolster the argument that all cryptocurrency is a scam. And we've seen a lot of those perma bears come out of the woodwork as far as that's concerned in relations to this. But this isn't the same as keeping your crypto on cold storage, right? Like this is the problem with exchanges in and of itself. I mean, if the traditional finance exchanges were to have the same type of liberties something like FTX would have, there would have been a lot more of those. And so I do think that there is going to be a lot more legislation coming down the pipeline because of this. And I'm curious as to what that would look like. My fear is that it would become a bit too much. Like Congress is going to be a bit overreactive or reactionary rather than proactive about this, and that it's going to hurt cryptocurrency and more than it may end up helping it.
I don't know. No, I'm gonna take the other side on this one. I think it's going to help. I think kids are outside running around and they're about to put a fence up. That, and you're gonna have those little whiny kids like, oh, come on, we used to play with all this, and like we're gonna leave behind the wild west of crypto. So it's not gonna be the 50% move in 10 minutes kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But also, I'm not. No, this is for everyone else, not anyone watching this. People are stupid. Like they don't know how to control their own stupidity. So sometimes I do agree with them stepping in and just putting some regulation there. Like, like PDT, the pattern day trading rule in stocks, people hate it. But if you can't make money in 3 trades, what makes you think you're going to do it in 300 trades? It's like they start putting rules in. With it being a current currency, I think it'll be more like Forex rules, which I don't think will hurt too bad. But I think there's going to be a level of once we put this fence up, the kids that like that freedom, they're going to be offended. But overall, I can't see what they would do to really stamp this thing down to make everyone hate it.
Yeah.
Oh, this is I like this guy's wording. Just what a crap show, and it's going to be all, what do you say, crypto's fault, Bitcoin's fault?
Oh, this is CZ. Yeah. So CZ ended up tweeting out, and I wanted to address this because somebody had made a comment about it. So CZ had put up earlier, I believe it was yesterday, what a shit show, and it's going to be crypto's fault instead of one guy's fault. And so, and that's what I was referring to. He's, I'm sure, frustrated as somebody who's been such an early adopter of cryptocurrency that and working so hard for others to adopt cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, that this is kind of, I think his reaction is that this is setting us back a little bit. But I think that there's something to be said on your argument as well, that this could bring about more awareness, and maybe we'll see some lessons learned and more people gravitating towards hiding their currencies on actual cold wallets. Yeah,
because how many times have we seen a crapshoot in crypto like this? Like when crypto started taking off in popularity, what did the FBI say? Scams went up like 700%, 800%, something ridiculous. But it was never big enough to get anyone's attention. It was just like, oh, that's crypto, like that's the crypto world. That's what they get. But now I think something this big needed to happen before anyone actually ever took it seriously. Because you just know, like we're talking about on DCTV, there's crypto nerds. They know about it, like they believe it, they've done the research, and there's kind of just everyone else, the consumer. The crypto nerd crowd just has not been big enough to gain any traction in this. Like that's not pulling any votes. No one's worried about that yet.
Right.
But when it gets big enough, when it hits people's wallets of a big enough magnitude of volume, now things start to change. Like that's going to start. If it affects votes, it affects politicians, money being made, then people will take a second look.
Yeah, absolutely. Just wanted to address a couple of the comments here. SD says, how was he a pawn? Meaning Sam Bankman-Fried, which, by the way, if you guys are just tuning in, we did break the news at the top of the show that Sam Bankman-Fried is under supervision in the Bahamas looking to flee Dubai. So he is being detained in the Bahamas, but it's not just him. It is also Gary Wang, who is the co-founder, Nishad Singh, as well as Caroline Ellison. So they are all being detained right now on presumptions that they were trying to flee the country. Now, SD had said that how was he a pawn when he pulled this same stunt during the sushi swap fiasco where he profited millions. To me, just given the fact, and I was just making the argument that there's just no way at least in my opinion, that this was just one guy. Like, there's just no way, with all the things that are coming to light, that nobody else knew about this other than SBF.
Yeah. No, there's always someone. There's always like the face of it, like the Kathy Woods, but everyone just pretends Kathy Wood doesn't have a team, research and stuff. There's no way. I think the team behind this is like, please, Sam, you're already in the, please don't say our names. Like, nothing's going to change. Please just leave us. We got family and kids,
I mean, if he's going to save his own ass, he won't care.
I don't think you can save him.
Flatsmack said FTX advertised on the World Series and has a stadium named after them. This is mainstream. Yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, like we have just talked about, I think this does a couple of things. One thing, I think, obviously, it's going to make the argument stronger for those who haven't really adopted cryptocurrency or are trying to make arguments against it. But I think it also actually creates a little bit more awareness for those who have adopted it and haven't really maybe thought about that. If you buy Bitcoin on an exchange, it's not actually your Bitcoin. So if you bought Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency on Robinhood or Webull or FTX or even Coinbase, it's not actually your coin. It is what's called a hot storage, and that's not something that you really want to keep the majority of your cryptocurrency holdings on. You want to keep it on a cold wallet. And a lot of people are unfortunately having a hard lesson over the last week on what exactly that means and how to protect your crypto.
The reference, just so people can get a visual, when you buy, and this is something I said the other day, and I'll try to find a better one if this doesn't make too much sense. But let's say you buy a Bitcoin, you leave it on the exchange. That's the same as you taking money out of your bank, cash, and you're storing it in someone else's bank. Now, he's going to take your cash, store it in his house under his bed mattress. That's the equivalent of you having crypto on an exchange. You're hoping that guy doesn't burn his house down or someone break in and rob that guy.
Yeah.
Like, taking it off that eliminates that. But right now, you're converting, you're just kind of leaving it in paper form under someone else's bed mattress, hoping, they play it safe. When you find out his house burnt down, he didn't have insurance, you're just out all of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I have $20 worth of Bitcoin? What do you need 1875 worth of Bitcoin for? What?
I don't understand.
Oh, from the gas fee or something? Or?
Oh, yeah.
Cost of doing business.
This is the same as having your money in your bank, Chris B. Yes, actually, it is. It actually is. And that's why the argument is that, cryptocurrency is, keeping on cold storage gives you the freedoms that the decentralized part of it. If you have Bitcoin on your wallet, you are your bank, and you don't have to worry about it. And so yes, I definitely agree with you that it's the same as your bank. I mean, I think after anything higher than $5,000 withdrawal, the bank's asking questions, whereas you could have $1 million in Bitcoin on cold storage and take out whatever you need, and nobody really asks those types of questions.
Yeah. Or is he talking about just having I think what I took from that was he's talking about just having cash in the bank, which is true. With the fractional reserve system, the bank only has to have 10% of your money. They can loan it out the rest of the way. So your 1,000 is now 10,000 for them, which is what same was with FTX was doing. They were loaning out. What they did was they did leverage. So now they started taking that money, just made some more money and sent it all out a little bit everywhere
in the form of the FTT token. Yes.
Yeah. But banks are regulated. More importantly, everybody has lived by the dollar, so they know that. And if it's all just BS, as long as everybody believes the same lie, it works. Your dollar bill, if you look at your physical dollar bill, it's the same piece of fabric with ink on there from 1 in 100. You just believe that 100 is worth more.
Yeah.
People haven't adopted that confidence yet, or that belief with crypto. Right now it's just too weird. Just imagine back then when the dollar was coming out, the notes were coming out. You had coins, you had gold bars, and someone's like, no, this piece of paper is worth it. I'm sure there are people back then like, that's a piece of paper. I'm not accepting that. Like, break me off a piece of gold. Like there's this that transition period until everyone does believe it. This is just where it's going to be at. If everyone ran to their bank to withdraw money right now, if there was a cash grab, you'd find out every $100 you have there, you can pull out 10.
Yep.
And that's it. But there's not, because there hasn't been just mass panic yet.
Yeah, I agree. The Brick says the dollar is poop. Yes, it is.
Yeah, but ours is shinier than everyone else's. So globally,
Right.
we're still doing good.
Yeah, I wanted to also point out, so I'm just throwing some tweets up as they come in because this is just, it's been pretty crazy. So Bruce Fenton puts out a reminder that Bernie Madoff ran a $64 billion Ponzi scheme, an actual Ponzi scheme. Let me scroll in here. It was the largest fraudster in U.S. history. Madoff was also simultaneously chairman of the largest securities regulator in the U.S., known as FINRA. Madoff also sat on the advisory committees at the SEC. And then CZ said, but they are less dramatic. I think that this is also important to point out that there's some pretty interesting parallels here to the SBF saga and what happened with Madoff, because SBF, his mother, I believe, is a lawyer for Hillary Clinton, and the Caroline Ellison, I believe, has some sort of relationship with Gary Gensler, and it has just escaped me as to what it is. I'm sure some folks in the crowd will be able to clear that up for me, but this is just absolutely insane. The kind of some of the parallels that we're seeing with this, and like that which makes me believe that there's more to the story than just Sam Bankman-Fried.
Yeah. Crispy says, free Sam Bankman. He's innocent. I don't know if I would want to be freed. He might be innocent. I'm not him or that involved in the story to have those details. But
yeah,
man, if anyone was, could you short it? That's what I'd want to look at. If this happened in something like a U.S. currency, like before 9/11, a lot of airliners had a bunch of short options, put options bought on them.
Yeah,
that's what I'd want to look into, because those people are in on it. Too bad the CIA got rid of that group. They had a group that would just watch the stock market just for stuff like that, to see if there was just some random stuff coming out of nowhere.
Yeah,
just to see.
I actually wanted to check in on the price of Bitcoin to see how it's moving. Right now, it seems to be pretty much unfazed. It's actually slightly in the green. It's at 16,800. Ethereum's actually slightly in the green as well. FTT still just taking the hit. That's down 3% at $2.04. Not surprisingly, not the lowest that we've seen it, but it's getting there. Really no reaction in the crypto world as far as the price action's concerned over this news. I think probably because everybody knew that this was inevitable.
I think the damage is done at this point.
Yeah.
Right. Bitcoin, everything's already everything's transacted. Right now we're back to dollars.
I would assume. Assume so. Solana's still getting wrecked.
Now, this was a little bit more. We need some crypto nerds on stream. This is a little bit more involved, right? Solana?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, Solana was directly involved with, I believe, FTT. They also use this as leverage as well. Who would still even have FTTs? Asks Thirsty 808. Yes, I would agree. I would agree with that.
I don't know. Someone's always out there doing something. You never know.
I know. We have about 174 of you guys here on stream here on DCTV, which we certainly appreciate it. I'm sure there's some new folks here. If you guys are new, I certainly would appreciate if you guys hit that subscribe button. We go live regularly at 9 a.m. Eastern time, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That is our regularly scheduled programming, but I wanted to go live this evening because we got word that Sam Bankman-Fried had actually been detained. So if you guys didn't catch that news, SBF is under supervision in the Bahamas as he was looking to flee Dubai. It wasn't just him, though. It's not just him that is detained. Co-founder Gary Wang, who is a very mysterious person from Sequoia, and Nishad Singh, as well as Caroline Ellison, are all being detained on the presumption that they were going to Dubai, as there is no extradition treaty there with the U.S. So they were, I'm sure, probably pretty nervous and trying to flee the country. And so now the Bahamian law enforcement has detained them. Doesn't say that they're under arrest, and this is according to Cointelegraph. But that is what's happening currently.
They're just keeping tabs on them. Man, I'd be worried about the people that aren't worried about extraditing you back.
Yeah.
What's the biggest customer somebody lost? I know Tom Brady, he lost $650 million.
Him and Giselle both together, I think, had 650 million wrapped up into there. I'm not quite sure.
They're not. Are they the biggest? Surely they're not.
I would have no. BlackRock, I think, had 900 million into FTX.
That's tiny for BlackRock.
Yeah, there is a list. I have that, but if you want to keep the conversation going, I'm sure I can find that somewhere.
I don't know about anything good to bring. Like as far as that goes, like man, you lose 100 million. I'm not worried about extraditing you either. I'm just gonna come to Dubai. You can go wherever you want.
Right. It's
like I'll take the whole team with me. Like that's what would have me nervous. Where could this guy go to even hide? That guy better hope the earth is flat and there's an ice ring around us and find his way over that edge to somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's about your only option. Should have took that money and bought a sailboat.
So looking at the largest investment amounts, Insight Venture Management, I think, had 1.7 billion invested. Lightspeed had also 1.7 billion. Paradigm Medical Industries had 1.3
billions with a B.
Yeah.
Oh man.
BlackRock had 420 million there. Sequoia Capital had 1.3 billion, which also, as I'd mentioned, the co-founder there of FTX, Gary Wang, is also, I believe, a board member of Sequoia. So very tight, close ties there. Coinbase also was invested $900 million into FTX. So this is from FactSet, by the way. This is where this source is coming from. So it is a legit source. Tom Brady.
Do we know all the employees at FTX?
No, don't know all of them. No.
I'd be praying for a list of like the cutoff. Everyone below here had no idea this was going on. Here and above did.
Yeah.
Imagine being some sorry employee that just answered the phone when someone's got a glitch. Like, because now they're getting fried.
Yeah. Actually, if there's anybody who's watching or anybody watches this later, let us know in the comments if you are an employee of FTX, or maybe you worked for FTX. Let us know what you guys are thinking right now. And I would love to get your story. If you are, let us know. Reach out to me. Our Discord link is in the description. I would love to hear from you guys, and I would love to be able to have someone on our stream at a later date too to interview them if there's anybody who was worked for FTX.
Yeah. As far as Saucy's question here, I do want to hear a couple more of those people that are in there if you start that up. But it says, will Sam be forced to sell all assets? I think that's what the backdoor thing was. People were saying he was hacked. I think they were pulling that all back because now it's time to liquidate, see what we have versus what we owe, so we can talk about the bankruptcy in court.
Yeah. Bitcoin's still moving up here. It's now at 16,850. Not really too crazy, but it's interesting that it's moving up on this news and not going down.
Yeah. What's it up? A few $100?
Yeah, it's nothing crazy.
Yeah, for crypto, that's nothing.
Nothing crazy. Nope.
Yeah.
But I think it just further enforces that we're seeing really no reaction here, probably because nobody, at least who is invested, is really surprised by this. So I would imagine this is kind of already baked in.
Yeah, like I said, not to repeat it, I think as far as money goes, that thing's already settled. That's done. There's no new shock here. No one's going to wake up tomorrow and realize FTX is gone, and there's nothing they could do anyway. So now it's just, does this bring? I think it's back as far as price action. I think we're back to the regularly scheduled programming. I think a lot of people are going to continue to follow this because there's a lot of unanswered questions. I think there's probably some people that still want some closure as to what the hell was going on. So I bet this is still going to be in your face for quite a bit. And I'm still curious. I mean, even as a consumer, like I'm not an FTX, never pumped it, never bought it, never anything affiliated with it. I'm in Bitcoin, so I get to watch that go down. But you know where I stand on that. I hope it goes to 11, whatever it takes to get there. But I do want to know what's up. And with almost 300 people watching, like, I want to hear some of the comments. How has this affected you? Just crypto dropped? Were you weighted into one more than the other? Did you have an FTX account wishing you maybe had a ledger?
Yeah.
And I definitely don't want to pour salt on anyone's wounds while they're down. So if I ever say anything like that, man, that's the last thing I want. But going forward, I hope this hopefully you can learn from someone else's mistake or learn from this, because you definitely don't want to repeat a mistake twice.
Yeah.
Learn from this, because I doubt this happens again. But nothing says this can't happen to even Coinbase or whatever your most trusted one is.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just wanted to address, I'm looking at some other things. This is fucking hilarious. This is a piece from Sequoia. It says, after my interview with SBF, I was convinced I was talking to a future trillionaire. Whatever mojo he worked on, the partners at Sequoia who fell for him after one Zoom had worked on me too. For me, it was simply a gut feeling. I've been talking to founders and doing deep dives into technology companies for decades. It's been my entire professional life as a writer. And because of that experience, there has been a pattern matching algorithm churning way somewhere in my subconscious. I don't know how I know, I just do. SBF is a winner. But that wasn't even the main thing. There was something else I felt, something in my heart, not just my gut. After sitting 10 feet from him for most of the week, studying him in the human musk of the startup grind and chatting in between beanbag naps, I couldn't shake the feeling that this guy is actually as selfless as he claims to be. And then Elon actually reacted to this tweet and said that my reaction to SPF was different.
It's different. Yeah. So to the guy that put the original tweet out, did he play Monopoly a lot when he was growing up?
So this is so Phil Back was the one that actually originally tweeted this out. This was a piece written by SBF. So it written for SBF from Sequoia. So I mean, obviously Sequoia was heavily invested, and one of their co-founders of FTX was also a board member of Sequoia. So it doesn't like surprise me about those words in general. It was just funny that Elon's reaction was like, yeah, I was a little bit off put, or that was a little bit different for me.
Yeah, but to think, oh, this guy's the next trillionaire. Like,
I know. Jesus Christ.
The guy was printing his own money, so I get it. Like, this guy's having $1 trillion of Monopoly money.
The guy could barely wash his own hair. I just don't like.
I think that's how the new kids do it. The little kids, young ones. How old is this guy?
30.
30?
Yeah, 30. 30.
Oh, man. This guy looks.
Like
I don't know. I don't want to judge. Maybe
like
just have a few years difference. It's maybe I'm right there on that timeline. That young kids that just like to leave everything messy.
A lot of people asking about Robinhood being a short as a result of this. Maybe I guess because if there's a lot of I don't know how many Bitcoin holders there are in
I think
Robinhood.
they're talking about because he owned didn't he buy Robinhood stock with his fake money?
Yes, that's right. He did.
I
think it was
stake.
about 10% stake in Robinhood. It's
Some
a very good question.
8 to 10 or something like that. Yeah, I've seen 10% quite a bit.
Very good question. I don't know. I mean,
in the dirt.
That's the thing. Like, if you were going to short Robinhood, I would have done it already. And by the time you try to do it on perhaps Monday, if you are going to see the drop down, it's probably gonna be too late. So if you aren't already short on Robinhood, if it were my opinion, it's not financial advice, but if it in my opinion, I probably wouldn't even bother chasing that.
Yeah, a chart. Pull up real quick.
Yeah, I can. I
just want to see where it's even at. Like, once something, if there's no meat on the bones, just even as a trader, which is what I do, I don't really care for short. If it's already under $10, your best case scenario is it goes bankrupt and goes to zero, so it's $8 per share. Like, if that's all I'm chasing, I could find that in almost there's a million other stocks I could probably find that in.
Right.
So risk to reward just doesn't even look that good. And if I remember right, Robinhood already sold off and it's just kind of around the bottom, hanging out.
Yeah. Here's Robinhood on the daily chart here.
What's that price in there? $11?
Yeah, right around $11. 10.47 is what it closed out on Friday.
We're gonna short that thing to $7. No, it looks like that move already made. See those red candles down? That was the move.
Yep. That was the move after all the craziness with Bitcoin and everything else crashing. So
yeah, I wouldn't buy or short that.
Yeah.
I say this a lot. Like, over 7,000 tickers in the market. Why even worry about that one?
Right. Yep.
No meat on the bones.
Yeah, and like we had talked about, I think a lot of this has already been baked in, and it looks like some of that's already baked in for Robinhood. I would imagine that Robinhood probably has the same reaction to what we're seeing in crypto in general. I mean, really no reaction at all.
Yeah. Looks like someone said GTN, WBD, and Para all running now.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I haven't looked. But I like this question. I like this comment here. Flatsmack says, I took all my BTC and Ethereum off FTX yesterday morning, safe and sound in my Trezor. So yeah, if you're a FTX US exchange holder, I believe that you were still able to withdraw your funds. And
Not anymore.
Not anymore, but you were able to. So yeah, great, just unbelievable. See some people. You all Trust Wallet, is Trust Wallet safe? I don't know about Trust Wallet.
I can say let's invite these people back. So
yeah,
we're not the crypto nerds, and that's not to take offense to anybody. But DC, if you're on Don Franz show, DC TV, you'll see me on there in the mornings as well. Sometimes we got some crypto nerds that do it with us. They know it better. They get down into the code, the protocol. They say the big words. They will not let you down. That's who I would listen to. As far as like, do I think it's safe? I guess I'd just be guessing on that one. I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Should I consider buying Bitcoin? But you know my levels. My levels are 11,000. But I also buy it every week. I'm just buying more at certain levels. That's just my plan.
Yep.
I would just say have a plan. You know, what is your plan?
Absolutely. And don't deviate from that plan. So again, if you guys are just tuning in, I wanted to just stress again, we went live outside of our normally scheduled show, which is at 9 a.m. Eastern time, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So if you're new to the channel, first of all, welcome. We'd love to have you guys back at those times. We're going to continue to deep dive into a lot of the stuff that's been happening. But just to kind of recap, it has been reported from Cointelegraph that Sam Bankman-Fried is under supervision in the Bahamas, looking to flee to Dubai. And it hasn't been just Sam Bankman-Fried either. It was also co-founder Gary Wang and director of engineering Nishad Singh, as well as Caroline Ellison, who is the CEO of Alameda, which was also founded by Sam Bankman-Fried. So they were trying to flee to Dubai. They aren't under arrest as of right now, but they are being detained and monitored so that they do not flee the country anytime soon to some sort of non-extradition country.
Where would you go? You just lost billions.
If I had to flee to the country, I don't know.
Would you stay in the country? Would you roll out? Where would you go?
I don't know. I don't want to go to Russia, obviously. Don't want to go to Dubai. I don't know where I would go. I don't know. I'd have to know which countries actually were non-extradition countries.
Tokyo's one. I think Germany's one. Not Tokyo as a country, but I know Tokyo is a popular place for that.
Really?
So you would try to leave. You would try to leave the country.
I mean, if I thought my life was in danger, probably.
Because then you got to weigh out. There's American prisons versus prisons overseas. So you get in trouble over there. Like, would you rather be in prison in the United States? That's like a daycare and some compared to some over there.
Yeah. I mean, I guess so. But I think also if you are a high-profile criminal, like an SBF, and you get caught in some other country, they're going to protect you until you get back to the U.S., right? Because if they're responsible that you got somewhere else, like that's on the other country as well. So like, I don't know. I think that if you get locked up in some other country, if you're somebody like an SBF, you probably are pretty safe, I would imagine.
I used to watch this show. He says it's going to end up on Locked Up Abroad. I've seen a few episodes of that. I would watch that episode if Sam gets tied up
absolutely. On that. Oh, we got Brandon in the house. What's up,
Here's
man?
a crypto nerd. Answer this question for us.
I'm here. My audio's bugged out. What's like?
What was the question, Brad? You want to bring it up as a trust wallet?
Oh no, we'll bring it back. Yeah, but I wanted before we get into anything. I think Brandon said he couldn't hear us. Can you hear us now, Brandon?
Yeah, we're good. We're good. We're good.
Okay.
You know that thing where like your audio is always wrong no matter what?
Yeah. So unbelievable stream here tonight. We're reacting to the news that Sam Bankman-Fried is under supervision in the Bahamas, looking to flee Dubai. What are your initial thoughts on that?
My advice is he should probably be truthful, because his life will get a lot harder if he's not truthful.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what the cops always tell you. Like,
dude, I'm just saying that dude can take a plea bargain. and avoid getting Epsteined, or he can hang out in jail and get Epsteined. I mean,
That's what I'm saying. So at the
this
top of the
involves,
show,
this involves the Clintons, dude. Like I'm
yeah,
just saying.
at the top of the show, I was like, there's just no way that SBF is the only individual a part of this whole situation. And so to me, I feel as if there are bigger players at hand that may want him shut up. That's just my gut feeling, and because of the Epstein, type of situation.
Dude, this is bankster gangster stuff. This is nothing to do with crypto other than the fact that crypto was the front.
Yeah. And that's the sad part too, because we talked about as well about how CZ was talking about how everybody's going to blame this on crypto when it really should just be blamed on one person.
Yeah, like real talk. Let's talk about this for a second. So, I know people keep being like, this is going to reduce the, public's confidence in cryptocurrency. This has nothing to do with cryptocurrency. This is a centralized exchange, literally just bank folks doing their own centralized programming, and they used Bitcoin as the front for people to get into it. But like, when you have money on exchange, like, do you really have Bitcoin, or do you have some account that says that if you ask for it, they should give you this amount of Bitcoin? Because that's really what's happening. It's not, there's nothing on the blockchain about this. It's literally just a centralized exchange that's using their influence to move money around, right?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
But I will say most people don't understand that. You're our crypto nerd.
You're right.
You can break it down for them. But in the most people's eyes, now this is something a lot of people need to take into consideration. It's a tough lesson for a lot of people to learn. Perception is reality. And learning what reality actually is, but also fighting that perception right now is going to be a tough one for the crypto world. Because right now, people are assuming FTX crypto, this is all crypto's fault, because it's not the first time there's ever been a story about someone losing money in crypto.
I agree with the premise here. Like I agree that certainly we're going to have to work within the framework of people's perceptions, but I disagree with the statement. Like, I think reality is not contingent upon your perception. Like, there are things that are still true whether you believe them or not. So postmodernism would say that's not the case, right? But and then really that's what we're running into. But the big idea here is people need to educate themselves. We have a lot of unsophisticated investors who are jumping into crypto trying to get rich quick, and there's a lot more history and context going on in this whole space that people just aren't privy to. So like DCTV, we exist specifically for that. We exist because we want to educate people. We want to get people informed as to the history that they're jumping into, and also the future we're moving towards, so that we can actually be intentional and informed about our decisions, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I do want to bring this up. In order to first obtain my first crypto, I do have to trust an exchange and move my money, then move the coin to my wallet.
Not necessarily true.
Really? Because I would have.
If you mine cryptocurrency, you can get rewards directly from the blockchain, and it never has to touch an exchange technically.
Yeah.
But for most people, they do get it over the counter, and that's fine. That's just one way you can get it. You can also, convert things you have. If someone's willing to trade something they have for cryptocurrency, and plenty of people are willing to buy stuff for crypto. I mean, you can be clever about it. There's tons of people in the NFT space who are artists, and they're making, cryptocurrency off of their art, their music, their film, their paintings, all sorts of things, right? So I don't think that's perfectly true, but certainly if you do have, getting back to your question, like, there's a few clever ways you can acquire cryptocurrency. And once you have cryptocurrency, it's important for you to make sure you're holding your private keys. Otherwise, the whole value proposition of cryptocurrency is irrelevant, right? Yeah. If you have it on an exchange, it's just funny money.
Yeah, that's what we talked about earlier. Like, basically, you just gave them your money, and they gave you an IOU, a Bitcoin later, should you ever want to take it off,
right?
Provided it's still there when you go to make that transaction. What do you think? Before we lose track, was it Trust Wallet, Brad? What was the comment? Somebody asked about that. And
somebody was asking. Yeah, about if Trust Wallet was legit.
I don't use Trust Wallet. I can't speak to it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, I don't think anybody.
But what I can tell you, we do use. So I've been nonstop face first in crypto since 2016. I was peripherally interested in it before then, but I really took the jump and became a miner and got involved in the whole space seriously in 2016. So most people I know, if they're using a software wallet, they're using exodus.com. Exodus, you can install it on Mac or PC. I think it supports Linux too. And you can basically generate your own private keys. So you have your own wallet that's generated. You're the only person who has the keys to that. And then you can transfer your cryptocurrency from your Binance wallet or whatever Coinbase, whatever exchange you have, to that wallet inside of your Exodus account. And if you do that, no one else has access to your crypto. You have private keys, and you have like 12 seed words that you can throw in your fire safe as well, your gun safe, whatever you got. So that way, those funds truly are safe. And then keep in mind when you're doing this stuff, like altcoins, you shouldn't typically hold bags long term because a lot of altcoins are just experiments and they're highly volatile, high risk, high reward. And so I don't recommend anyone really. First up, I don't give financial advice, but second up, I personally don't hold altcoins long term. If there's specific altcoins that do make sense, for example, some of the coins that you might stake long term because the ecosystem is more robust than just some speculative altcoin, then that makes sense. But as far as things you should hold really long term, Bitcoin's kind of the one. Like you should. Yeah. If you are going to hold anything long term, Bitcoin's a safe bet.
And there's a reason there's over 40,000 coins, and you hear the same one over and over again, like Bitcoin. Everything else is like it's this coin, but then they have to give like their statement as to why that coin's even relevant. Like I can just say Bitcoin, and everyone else is like Wakanda coin because Black Panther 2 is coming out. Like there's not like they can't just say the coin name and just that be it.
Just
like,
meme hype, yeah.
Yeah, just so much crap out there. Like that's where you chose to put it. Like. I don't know. Yeah, I do agree with that. Like, just stick to the one that has been here.
Yeah. Now that's as far as like free immediate options. That's a great way to just get your stuff locked up first. But Tamp has mentioned this a few times that at some point it really does make sense for you to do more than just have one little lock and key. At some point, you really should get a ledger or a Trezor and keep your large sums of money in one of those inside of a physical like gun safe, something like that. Because at some point, like you kind of become your own Fort Knox, and you really do have something that you should be protecting with higher levels of seriousness. To start, get Exodus is a good idea, and then when you do have about $100 or so, pick up a Trezor or that's Trezor. Or a ledger, like a ledger Nano. Buy them directly from the company's websites.
Yeah, and I haven't heard much about Trezor. I know if you YouTube this, Ledger pops up. So maybe use case scenario or user experience.
They both have pretty similar experiences, honestly. They both have the same type of form factor. They both have screens. They both have buttons that you can interact with things on the screens. They both have a USB. You can plug them into your computer. They have an application that can pull up. They both support the majority of large cryptocurrency wallets. So they're both safe bets. I mean, I personally default towards Ledger, but I mean, the first one I had was a Trezor. So, but I do a lot of blockchain development. So I have a bunch of these. I have like one for each use case. You don't need to do that if you're just a individual though.
Yeah. See, crypto nerd. I told you guys he wouldn't let us down.
Love you guys.
I do want to shout out DCTV because someone's on here says I do follow Don Fron and I follow OTC, but not this guy. You'll be happy to know that Don and OTC are on the DCTV channel. So it's decentralized TV. It's a stream that goes on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 30 minutes before market open, 30 minutes after. If you're a stock person, you'll know that time frame. But that's just where crypto stuff. Like my channel won't be a crypto channel, but we will talk more about all of that on that stream.
That's right.
Anything crypto related.
Yeah. We are simulcasting on DCTV and at the Don Fron Show. So make sure you guys go follow him if you are on DCTV. So if you guys are visiting for the first time, which it looks like there's many of you that are, make sure you subscribe if you want to get some more news. And if you want to continue the conversation, go check out our Discord. The link is in the description below. Would love to have you guys there to continue this conversation. And I actually wanted to point this out too. We had briefly talked about this a little earlier about the connections here with the SEC. So Sam Bankman-Fried, the CEO of FTX, obviously MIT graduate, Caroline Ellison, was the CEO of Alameda, who Sam Bankman-Fried appointed. Glenn Ellison was a professor of economics at MIT. You can see the connection there, obviously. And then Gary Gensler was the head of the SEC, former professor also at MIT. Very incestuous and it's very sus. So it's like I said, I just
love each
feel
other.
just feel like there's more dominoes to fall here, and the story just continues to unfold here. I actually put out a poll as well for those of you who are watching. Just kind of asked our community, what happens to SBF from here? And I said, does he mysteriously meet his demise? Which 30% of you said yes. Goes to jail for a very long time, 27%. Nothing. 30% of you out of 56 believe that nothing's going to happen to SBF, which I think is kind of surprising. And then 12% say that he gets beat by Dirty Shovel.
That's
the OPSEC Dirty Shovel.
Dirty Shovel gang.
He's going to commit suicide, stab himself in the back a few times. Die from the Rona.
Yeah. Involuntary hanging.
6 knife wounds.
Yeah.
I really hope nothing like that happens. I hope people get justice in court, if anything.
I agree.
I don't wish harm on anybody. I wish justice just befalls people and people rightfully have what's theirs.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I do want to, while we're on that topic and we're going to be serious. So I want to answer this. I talked to my friends who lost $300K in FTX, feeling to end their life. Any message for people in that situation is so sad. I do agree. Not worth your life. You can get over any hump. While that was probably a huge chunk, let's be real. You made $300K once, do it again. Like, just, it sucks. I 1000% get that. Do it again. Like, don't end it. Just do it again and learn from your mistakes. Come back a much more, I want to say, hardened. What's the word I'm looking for? Experienced. Yeah, no, that's not within your life. Or plus,
you're seasoned. Yep.
Yeah.
You're a seasoned veteran, truly, if you can survive these types of waves, right? And honestly, your value proposition comes from your knowledge. Your mind, if you've learned lessons, you can summit some pretty ridiculous circumstances.
Yeah, and there's no way that guy loses 300,000 again. No way. His body, his nervous system right now is trained to sniff out everything. That guy is like like the K9 unit they like people bring with them because the humans just can't track it. I'd say that dude's just hyper vigilant now. Tell him, shake it off. Yeah. I can't say shake it off like with that sum of money, but with the lack of better words, shake it off and keep going.
Yep.
Yeah, another thing that exposes you if you have all of your coins on an exchange is hacking. FTX also said that it may have been hacked as $600 million in crypto is mysteriously drained overnight. Hundreds of millions of dollars in assets were mysteriously siphoned out of the collapsing crypto exchange on Friday, and what the exchange officials have referred to as a potential hacking incident. That's all they are saying.
Tractor beam.
Well, I also wanted to bring this up because Twitter is responding to this. Hear me out. We hacked the exchange after filing Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
I did see all the I even posted in our private Discord, and I was like, is this real? Like, hacked? And then that's when I found out there was like a backdoor thing. Because if they were to run with this, it got hacked, and that's the rest. I was like, get out of here. There's absolutely no way. That almost drove the final nail in the coffin that this, I believe, is 100% just staged or set up. You know, like, not I'm not a false flag person, but the pieces are already kind of awkwardly in place. If they said this was hacked at the end, I would have lost it, like, for sure. Yeah.
It's just funny. Some of the comments and the reactions that are coming out from all of us, and let us know how you guys are reacting to this as well. If you're just tuning in, I just kind of want to reiterate, Sam Bankman-Fried is under supervision in the Bahamas, looking to flee Dubai. If you guys are visiting for the first time, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up if you're enjoying the stream so far, and if you want to return back to us, hit that notification bell as well. We'll be live again on Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern time, and to go over all of this and anything else that's unfolding between now and then. What are you guys laughing at?
I'm laughing at the at the old school Hack the Planet reference. So.
Oh yeah.
That was Angelina Jolie's first big movie, by the way, Hackers.
But that's one of the first things that SBF actually said. He's like, I fucked
really
up.
sorry.
Yeah. now that's out of the way.
Look, I'm super sorry, Serial. I'm Serial.
Well, you say you won't do it again. I promise.
Yeah. Pinky swear.
Yeah.
Okay.
I learned my lesson. Of this magnitude? God, that's insane.
That's quite a vegan answer, though, to being confronted, right?
Yeah.
I'm very sorry. You're like, I believe you.
Yeah. My intentions were there.
All right.
Like, oh, yeah.
Well, one question that I wanted to ask you, Brandon, too, was, you know, I think we touched on it, but maybe didn't get the detailed answer from you. Was, you know, how does this impact everyone moving forward? Do we see a reactionary reaction from governments in as far as regulations concerned? You know, we just heard from Kevin O'Leary over the weekend as well that he's marching his way to DC to formulate some sort of bill in regards to regulation. I'm not quite sure. He didn't really say any specifics, but like, is this a moment in which people start learning their lesson and make laws around them in a Bernie Madoff type of way in which that protects the investor? Or is this actually more of a detriment to crypto, and that it just kind of provides fuel to the fire, and more people will less people will be likely to adopt crypto or Bitcoin in general?
There's two sets of people, I suppose. There's people who are going to stay within the centralized system, which defies the entire value proposition of cryptocurrencies, which is their decentralized self-custodian nature, right?
Yeah.
So you have those people, and those are the people, you know, who are not specifically interested in crypto for ideological reasons. They just want it, you know, to use it as a vehicle for trading and making some quick cash, right? And that's fine. I do think those people end up having more regulation. I think what my gut says is that this entire SBF thing entire FTX thing is about regulation. I think it was a setup to basically create more regulation, so there could be more opportunity for taxes to be collected.
That's exactly what I think.
Yeah, I think this whole thing was an inside job for that reason.
Okay, so I'm not the only one.
No, yeah, totally.
Okay.
This, I mean, look at who he's hanging out with, though. Like he was specifically hated by most people in crypto because he was hanging around a whole bunch of regulatory agencies and basically trying to get some inroads. So FTX would be exempt from a lot of the regulation because they meet specific criteria, and then their competitors are getting, you know, rolled sideways because they didn't meet the criteria they weren't prepared for.
Which does bring me to Julia's comment. Kevin O'Leary only wants protection for him and those like him. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, that's the world we do live in. And yeah, the rich do want to protect the rich. And now that the rich are involved in this, that's kind of why I think that's what this was for. That only just backs up or more to what we were just saying. Like, yeah, and I think everyone else will just kind of trickle down to the average investor or retail investor. But yeah, big money likes to watch out for other big money. There's definitely a separation in the crowd as far as that goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do.
There's a second group of people that I was saying that, like, I think that first group of people who aren't really super into crypto, they're just looking to use it as a way to, you know, ride some hype waves and make some cash buying the news. And, you know, I think that whole approach is one way, but there's other people who are truly into crypto. I think if anything, what this does is for people who do believe in self-ownership, for people who do believe in decentralized power, those people are probably going to start building exchanges that are decentralized. They're probably going to start preferring exchanges that are centralized, so that there's not a centralized party within their whole ecosystem. They're using code in the middle and then just trading from person to person, and that's how that's going to function. So I think this also pushes a huge wave of people towards DEXs, decentralized exchanges. And I think there's going to be a huge demand for the increased integration of DEXs into other ecosystems too.
I will say, so Brad was actually reading off some of FTX's clients, the
investors,
the big dollar ones, big dollar signs. I will say that I bet nothing of that level happens ever again. And Kevin O'Leary did say this. He says no one's going to put that kind of capital to work until there is regulation. So we're about to find out just where crypto stands in this world as far as government, and do they want to make that move? Because no way after losing $1.3 billion are they going to say, let's go round two. Like, the only thing that's going to be left in this probably will be the retail crowd. Like when the numbers start reaching the B with a B or hundreds of millions, and then something like this happens and people lose at that level, they're probably out until there's a way they can hedge it, until there's an insurance on it for cases like this. I am kind of excited for this. Not that I'm excited for everyone to lose money, but I think this is where we get down to the brass tacks of where we going, where do we move forward with this? Because it's going to zero, or we're adding regulation. I'm of the belief that it's regulation, but I think this is definitely a pivot point for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, that's going to do it for tonight's show. Thanks so much for tuning in on this impromptu live stream. We really appreciate it. And if you guys wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and like that button on your way out the door, we certainly would appreciate that as well. We'll be back live at 9 a.m. Eastern time to go over whatever the hell else happens between now and then. We would appreciate if you guys joined us there. Make sure you hit that the Discord as well if you want to continue that conversation. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you Monday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Yep.
Have a good one.